Grade 7, Social Science, History, Chapter 2, New Kings and Kingdoms, Part 3. In this video, you will learn about the Cholas. Learning objectives: to learn the political developments and the great part of Cholas in the medieval India. Word builder: children, please memorize this term and the meaning. You will come across this term in the video. Donor: someone who donates something to somebody else. The Cholas. Cholas, the most powerful empire in southern India. The Cholas arose in the 9th century Common Era. The founder of the medieval Chola Empire was Vijayalaya, who was initially a vassal of the Pallavas. The glory of the Chola dynasty is largely attributed to Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra I Chola. Rajaraja Chola, who ruled from 985 to 1014 Common Era. Rajaraja Chola initiated the policy of war and conquest by defeating the Cheras and the Pandyas. He invaded Sri Lanka, annexing its northern parts to his empire. He put into place an efficient administration and army. One of his naval exploits was the conquest of the Maldives. He also annexed the northwestern parts of the Ganga kingdom in northwestern Karnataka and overran the Vengai. Rajendra I Chola, who ruled from 1014 to 1044 Common Era. Rajaraja Chola was succeeded by his son Rajendra I, who further carried on his father's expansionist policies. He completely brought the Chera and Pandya territories under the control of the Chola dynasty and completed the conquest of Sri Lanka. He crossed the Ganges and marched across Kalinga to Bengal, defeating the local rulers. To commemorate his victory, Rajendra I assumed the title of Gangaikonda Chola, or the Chola conqueror of Ganga. He built a new capital called Gangaikonda Cholapuram. Rajendra I also defeated the ruler of the Sri Vijaya Empire, which extended over the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and neighboring islands and controlled the overseas trade route with China. The Cholas led an expedition which resulted in the conquest of Kadaram or Kedah and the Malay Peninsula and Sumatra. Hence, the Chola navy emerged as the strongest in the Bay of Bengal region. Cholas administration. The Cholas had a highly organized administrative structure headed by the king and a council of ministers to aid and advise him. They maintained a large army comprising cavalry, infantry, elephants, and a strong navy. Here, this empire was divided into mandalams or provinces. Each province was divided into smaller divisions called Valanadu. Each Valanadu was made up of smaller groups of villages called Nadu. At times, princes were appointed as the governors of mandalams. Officials were usually paid by giving them assignments of revenue-bearing lands. Village administration. The Cholas had a well developed system of local self government. There were two main bodies at the village level. The Ur, was a general assembly of the village. The general assembly is described as Ur. The Sabha or the Mahasabha was a gathering of the adult men in the Brahmana villages known as the Agraharas. Children, you come across these words in grade 6. Grama Sabha. Have you remembered? Okay. Grama Sabha means in village they will have a Sabha, the gathering of all the council members, and they will discuss the problem of the village people. Here, the Sabha or the Mahasabha, where they gathered where it was gathered by the adult men in the Brahmana villages, which was known as Agraharas. Those Brahmana villages were described as Agraharas. The Sabha also helped the king in measuring the land under cultivation, calculating the tax, and collecting the revenue. Revenue means income. People had the liberty, freedom. Okay, people had the freedom to pay the tax in kind and cash. That means they will do some services. Okay, that is also accepted. Settlement of disputes relating to land. Disputes, you have read about land disputes in grade 6. Okay, problems related to land, water and irrigation, maintenance of roads, temples and water tanks were under the purview of the Sabha. There were different executive committees that managed different aspects of the village administration. Educated people who owned property were elected to the committees either by drawing lots or rotation. So how they will be get elected? The help of lots. That lots, we will roll the paper and we'll put it in a bowl and we will choose, right? So like that, lots. They will draw lots or rotation. Rotation in the sense, so imagine two persons are there. One person name is A, the another person name is B. Okay. A should rule for 3 years. After him, B should rule for 3 years. After him, C should rule for 3 years, like that. In a rotation, they will take care of the committee. These members have to retire every 3 years. One of the important committees was the Tank Committee. Tank, T-A-N-K. Tank Committee, which looked after the distribution of water to the field. Economy. Economy relates to money. The Cholas encouraged trade and commerce. The Coromandel and Malabar coast were centers of India's trade with the Southeast Asia. An elaborate land survey was carried out to fix the government's share of land revenue. The income of the kingdom came from the toll on trade and professional taxes. Temples. Before seeing temple, let me give you an interesting fact about Cholas. Cholas are famous for their architectural skill. The Chola ruler Karigalan built Grand Aniket, a dam that diverted the water from the Kaveri for irrigation purpose. The structure has survived for over 2000 years. Now let us see the temple works of Cholas. The resources and extent of the empire of the Chola dynasty enabled the rulers to build great capitals and temples. After building the temple, the ruler would give the temple a grant of a few villages. The revenue from these villages was given to the temple. These temples also provided work to artisans, metal workers, musicians, and dancers. Each temple was a center of economy as well as culture and religion. Chola's inscriptions. Our main source of information on the Chola dynasty are the inscriptions of the period. The copper plate inscriptions consist of copper plates joined together with a ring. Children, have you seen? Copper plates will be joined with the help of a ring, which will look like a manuscripts or manuscripts. Okay, so it's a copper inscription. So they contain details of land grants. Land will be given as a gift, grants. Conquest, about the conquest and the important events of Cholas. Apart from these, many inscriptions were found on the walls of temples, such as the inscriptions on the walls of the famous Brihadishwara temple at Tanjore. These inscriptions shed light on the socio-economic life of the medieval period. The inscriptions about land grants began with a prayer to the gods of the dynasty, followed by an edict of the king. Thereafter, the royal donor, and his ancestors were listed. This was followed by a description of his heroic deeds and extraordinary personal characteristics. The inscription would also give a detailed description of the land being given and the details of the recipient. Now let us see the types of land grants. So Cholas will give land as a grant to many purposes. So let us see the types. Brahmadeya. Brahmadeya grants were land given to Brahmanas. So if the land grant is given to a Brahmana, that grant was named as Brahmadeya. Velanvagai grant were lands given to non-Brahmana peasants. So the agricultural workers, non-Brahmana agricultural workers, if they receive the land as a grant, then that grant name was Velanvagai. Next, Shalaboga. Shalaboga grants were lands given for the maintenance of schools. So if a land is given as a grant for maintaining schools, then that grant was named as Shalaboga. Then Devadana. Devadana grant were given to the temples. In the name itself you can understand, children. Devadana. Deva, Devam. Dana is donation. So Devadana is named for the land grant. The land which is given as a gift to temples, that was named as or described as Devadana. Yes, now we are not come to the end of this part, but we have came to the end of the chapter. It is a summary and also we can consider as a recall. So let us recall the chapter. The disintegration of Harshavardhana's reign led to the establishment of many small regional kingdoms throughout India. This period saw the rise of the Rajputs as a ruling group. The Gurjara Pratiharas, the Palas, and the Rashtrakutas were three powerful ruling groups engaged in a struggle over Kannauj. Muhammad of Ghazni raided India 17 times and plundered its wealth. Plundered means destroyed. Plundered its wealth. Or plundered, you can consider as a destroyed, or you can consider as a stealing. Okay? Plundered its wealth. Stealed their wealth. Destroyed and steal their wealth. The king was the head of the administration and commander-in-chief of the army in the regional kingdoms. Rajaraja and Rajendra I were the two famous Chola rulers. Inscriptions are the most powerful, most important source of the history of the Cholas. Hordes. 2 questions has given us a Hordes question. The Chola kings granted land for the maintenance of schools. Why it is important for the rulers and governments to support educational institution? This means, children, let me give you an explanation for this question. So many field is there, many department is there, but why the rulers of the past as well as the government of the present give more importance for the schools to get developed? So write your view. Minimum 5 points and maximum it's your wish. Second question. Why do you think large kingdoms were divided into smaller units that had their own administration? The question is why they are dividing the large kingdom into smaller units. So this thing we have learned in the grade 6 itself. So you just recall and write answer for this question. For this question also minimum 5 points must be there. Next is activity. Activity. Prepare a scrapbook on the various temples of South India built between the 9th and 12th centuries Common Era. Also mention the year of construction, the king under whom it was built, and its exact location. I hope you understand the activity. Complete the hot question with answer and this activity and file it in your social science portfolio. Yes, we have come to the end of the chapter. So please read the content book. Again, you watch the video and learn the content of New Kings and Kingdoms. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you, children. Have a great day.